Hello friends, my name is John Wilson and I live in Dumfries in Scotland. I'm 58 years old now and I am also a born again Christian. My life was not always as it is just now. As I say, I was brought up here in Dumfries and my family were pretty well off. My dad had businesses in the town and we had a decent enough upbringing, except for the fact that there was a lot of alcohol in our home, and Mum and Dad, they argued constantly, only under alcohol. The problem was that when alcohol was not on the go, they were such lovely people, but unfortunately when alcohol took its course, their characters changed, and many times I seen and heard things that I should not have been hearing, and was put into dreadful situations as a young man. Later on in my life, when I was in prison, a psychiatrist once asked me what kind of childhood I had, and I said to him, short, because it was very short indeed. I don't remember much of being a child, because my mind was always worried about my mum and my dad and the circumstances around us. However, I also had two older brothers. One was 5 years older, one was 10 years older. And these guys started to get into trouble. And by the time I was 11 or 12 years of age, I also was getting into trouble. The only good thing that was in my life was football. I played for my primary school, I played for the secondary school, and I also played for a local team. I was pretty good at football and I was hoping that a football career would be my whole life. I was good enough as a centre forward, and I'm quite sure if I had got the opportunity I would have made it. However, when I was 13-14, I was arrested for breaking into 13 shop premises over a period of 9 months. And by the time I left school I had two previous convictions. One was for what I just mentioned just now, and the other was for drinking alcohol underage. I had been in a remand home when I was 14. I spent 2 or 3 weeks in a remand home, and I was also on probation. So as I say, when I left school I didn't have any qualifications. In fact, it was the opposite. I had two previous convictions at such a young age. But the one good thing that I was having was the football. And as I say, it was the one thing that I thought would save me. And on Christmas Eve 1967, after drinking in a local hotel, I seen my girlfriend home. And on the way back home to my house, I met an older boy who was 21. I was 16 at that time. He had a cheap bottle of wine. We started to drink it. Next thing, he asked me if I wanted to go to a party in Carlisle. He had a little van. So I gets into this van with him and we starts to head off down what you call the Annan Road in Dumfries. And we weren't 2 miles outside of the town limits when the police started to chase us. And rather than stopping the car like we should have, we tried to outrun the cops. And of course, we couldn't take a corner. We smashed into a garage wall. The car tumbled over 4 or 5 times. And when I woke up, it was 2 days later and I was in Dumfries Hospital. I had a fractured skull, I had broken ribs, and I was paralysed from the waist down. My 4th vertebrae lumbar in my spine had been fractured, and both of my feet were totally dropped down like this, just hanging there. In 1968 of January I was moved to Edinburgh Royal Infirmary, placed on a striker bed. That's a special bed for spinal injuries. 2 hours on your back, 2 hours on your stomach. After 3 weeks of that, Professor Hitchcock, who was the head surgeon in Edinburgh Royal Infirmary at the time, came to see me, and he said to me that I would never ever walk again